This has been good, I hope. I hope this has been good. I'm trying to just, because this is a whole workshop thing. So sometimes I might say something like, it's because I'm trying to compress a whole workshop into a few minutes. And I'm trying to compress something that could be life transforming and could really mean a lot to you into a snapshot of a few minutes. And again, just trying to keep you start getting curious. Maybe I need to look at this more. And again, go and look for MBTI assessment and conduct your own assessment. And if you have any question, we can help you understand what it means. Now, the MBTI, again, it's 4 letters. And so we're in the last of the 4 letters. And the last is J and P. J for judging, P for perceiving. Now, and this is, the difference between this is the preferred way of life, preferred way of living. The most interesting difference that I ever got around this, which I really, really loved a lot, was J's try to avoid disappointment and frustration by seeking to gain control of everything around them. That's a J. They're trying to avoid frustrations and disappointment, but their way of doing it is they want to control every situation around them. Peace, or perceivers, as you might call it, they're also trying to avoid pain and disappointment, but their way of doing it is different from J's. They will not seek to control everything. For them, they adapt to everything. They seek to avoid pain and disappointment by adapting to the situation. So P's believe that they have internal control. So then they can now fit in to whatever it is you want them to fit into. So P's are very interesting people. They are the guys who can wake up this morning and they're going to Mombasa they're going on a road trip. They wake up and they're off on a road trip without prior planning, it's a road trip, they're going. Because it's fun to go for that road trip. And because some people are in that. And of course, you are like, where are you going to sleep? Well, we'll figure it out when we get there. P can wake up and go for a vacation without planning for it. They just wake up and they have money and they go. They're the guys who hey, let's go this direction. They will probably go with you. Those are P's. A J will want prior information. They will want prior planning. You're like, okay, we're going to Mombasa. When are we going to Mombasa? We're going next week. Like, no, I have to cancel this. I have to do this. No, I can't go to Mombasa next week. Give me 1 month notice. If you want me to come to Mombasa, I need a 1 month notice ahead of time. Because I have to make sure I have booked the place to sleep. I have to make sure I've booked this. I have to make sure I've done this. I have to make sure the kids at home are okay. I have to make sure this. P, they will discover on the way that they did not close their door. And then they'll call the neighbor. Ask the neighbor, hey, kindly go check if I closed the door. And the neighbor will discover, yeah, the door was not closed. And then they're like, okay, now there's another key I always keep under. Go, get for me, or call this person. They'll give you my key. Come, close the door, and just keep that key with you. I'll come back in 2 months. You will give it to me. But a J, if they even discover they did not close the door, they'll make a U-turn and go back. Because they need to make sure that the door is closed. So, judges or other people who are a J, they prefer closure and a clear plan of actions once the decision has been made. Once they like that closure and clarity, like, this is what we are doing, this is how we are doing it, they want to control situations. Peace, even after that decision is made, they always feel like, yeah, we can still move, we can still change things. It's okay, nothing is always cast on stone. And you'll hear P saying, yeah, it's not a matter of life and death. We can always shift. We can change. We want to eat at 2, it's fine. We can eat at 4 p.m., it's fine. See, we'll still eat. But a J, like, it is 2 and we have not eaten. Do you know there are people who are supposed to be going back to work, and that is going to mess up with their work and everything? Things have to go as planned. And J's find joy and satisfaction that they followed their plan as they set out. P's, again, they can be flexible. For a J, for you to get them to do work for you, they will be able to do it. The deadline, you need to tell them, deadline is next week. And if they know deadline is next week, they will plan to do this work till next week. They'll make sure they keep the deadline. For a P, you have to continuously remind them of a deadline. Because you gave them an assignment. They're doing other things, and you're like, you remember I gave you work. It's fine, I'll do it. And they're doing other things, and then when the deadline approaches, everything else stops, and they are busy now trying to keep that. They are burning the midnight oil if they respect your deadline. So for a P, you need to continuously remind them of the deadline. For a J, just letting them know deadline is 2 weeks from now, that's enough. They will come up with a plan to make sure they meet your deadline. And in fact, they'll be very glad to meet your deadline. For a P, you continuously have to be reminding them, remember the deadline is next week? Because in between here, they'll do other things. They'll go visit someone. They'll be over there. And then the night before the deadline, they will spend the whole night working on that thing. And so it's very important to know the difference between these two. Now, most P's live their life wishing they were a J. Because they sit back and like, wow, you are so organized. But they can't survive. They cannot survive in that organized life. Most P's you'll find, if they're organized at home, they're not very organized in the office. Or if they're organized in the office, they're not very organized at home. And you'll find most P's, what is different from a J for them is really when it comes to pressure. Most P's will tell you, I work well under pressure. They'll tell you that. I work well under pressure. A J will tell you, I don't function under pressure. They crash under pressure. A J needs good planning. They need to be told, what's the deadline? This. What do you expect? J doesn't like statements, figure it out. It doesn't work for a J. A P will tell you, no, we'll figure it out. Don't worry. Don't worry. Let's go for lunch. The world is not ending today. Let's go for lunch. We'll come back and figure this thing out later. So it's very important to understand the difference so that then you know how your growth curve looks like. Because a J can play before work is done. A P can play before work is done. But a J, before they are done with the assignment, anything will be a distraction. You're distracting them, they need to focus on work. And so telling them, hey, I've sent you some clip, can you watch it? That clip can wait. That clip can wait. It will be watched later when they are done with what they are doing right now. But a P, they can be working and a pop-up of a clip comes and all of a sudden they're in the clip and they're dancing to the clip. And oh my God, I was working. What was I doing? And then they realize, oh my God, it's 5 p.m. I need to go home. This I'll do tomorrow. It's good to know that. Because then it helps you to know, as a leader, you're going to have people who are different from you. How do you manage all this process? I hope this is making sense for you. Because again, if it doesn't make sense for you, you can reach out and say, hey, you mentioned this. I think I got mixed up somewhere. And we can clarify some of this information for you. So, again, remember, it's a preferred way of living. It's not that is you. You're put in a box, you're a J, and this other person is a P. No, it's how do you prefer to live your life? Remember what I said when we were starting? Is J's avoid frustrations and disappointment by controlling everything around them. A J will always want to know if they are driving a car, I have enough fuel, everything is okay, everything is fine, and all this. A P is like, hey, how far can I push this? It's there, okay, let's push it. How far can this fuel take us? And then push, and then the fuel ends in the middle of nowhere, and then they start laughing and they start looking for the nearby boda who can help them get fuel. A J would not let that happen to them. If it happens, it's out of unavoidable circumstances. They'd rather probably not even use their car, they'd rather use a matatu or public transport if they realize that this fuel might not get them where they are going. So it's good to know. It doesn't mean that you cannot, again, I keep saying this because I want you to understand this, that we're not putting you in a box, but we're just trying to tell you where are you, what's your starting point? Where are you starting from? So that even as you're growing, as you're acknowledging the differences that others have, you know how are you going to acknowledge that journey. Well, I hope this helps. I hope this is something that you can listen to and maybe re-listen to and maybe re-listen to. And again, if you have any questions and you need us to clarify, just reach out. Reach out and let's talk about it so that then maybe we could help you understand and appreciate these differences of personalities more and more. Well, thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for being part of this. And I hope and I pray that this will be able to help you in your journey of self-awareness. Thank you very much.